up, everyone? I'm the Kaiju no Kami here at Kumoricon 2021 with...
I'm Cruellica Kain.
And we are interviewing...
James Landino.
For those who might not know who you are and what you do, who are you and what do you do?
So I'm a video game and anime composer as well as a performing DJ. I've been working in the music industry, gosh, for almost 20 years. I started when I was 13 years old. I started writing music for games. And so, yeah, I'm almost 30 now and this is what I've always wanted to do my entire life. So.
No, I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
And from everything I've seen, you have such a passion for it.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing I thought was most powerful is I actually saw an article or interview that you did with Games Groove from last year.
Yeah.
And I really liked your modesty and your honesty with it, talking about how it's not easy to get into music, there's a lot of drive for it, and you also talked about with a lot of like the indie games that you've worked with and how sometimes it's challenging because there's not a lot of money in it, and you have to be conscientious of it. So what drives you to work with indie companies knowing that there's not a lot of like maybe financial benefits all the time?
I've been seeing lately, in kind of what we talk about, why do this sort of thing.
Sure.
Is that what really inspires me, whether in games or music or any kind of even collaborative environment, is the people, right? Like really the best things about this industry, the entertainment industry as a whole, is really the people. I've met some of the coolest, most amazing individuals that you would never know about if it wasn't for the entertainment space. And so when it comes to indie games, collaborating with these incredibly talented, creative, minds, just being able to work with them and, being able to, give my ideas and, bounce off their ideas. It's just, for me, that's what makes it so much fun, I think, ultimately.
Oh, absolutely. No, I think that's so beneficial because I know one of the projects that you've worked on that seems like there's more still going on with it is No Straight Road.
Yeah.
And just looking at the passion project for it, because I wanted to see what the artwork and knowing that's a music game, which I'm so much of a fan of.
Yeah.
And so I listened to a lot of the music, I saw the artwork, and it's so exciting that you were, along with so many other talented individuals, that you were able to create this dynamic soundtrack to play with the game.
Yeah, and back to creative individuals, so the music team is comprised of, the main core team is comprised of the 4 or 5 of us. I'm just miscounting, but we've worked together on projects for the past 10 years. We actually started 10 years ago on Sonic the Hedgehog fan games. That's how we all got together. And so 10 years later, we're working on projects together. No Straight Road's probably our biggest one yet, but like those composers, Funk Fiction, Andy Tunstall, Falco Young, they're some of the biggest inspirations to me musically, and I'm just so happy that they're my closest friends as well.
Absolutely. I like that.
Are they the ones that basically then help just like energize you to continue doing this music?
Absolutely. We have a group chat and we just kind of we hang out every day, virtually of course, but because we're all over the world, that's what's really cool too. Is I'm from America, Falco Young's Malaysian, Andy Tunstall's from the UK. We got other composers on the DLC project. Michael Staple, he's from Canada. we're all from different backgrounds and walks of life, but we share so much passion and common ground together. And it's so much fun.
And so if there was any video game you could have your music in, what would it be?
That's so tough. That's so tough. I think the easiest answer would be a formal Sonic the Hedgehog game, or Super Mario, of course, or if anything, Dance Dance Revolution. I think what got me into video games in the first place was discovering Dance Dance Revolution. I was 11, 12 years old. I was someone who never really liked music. I actually hate music on the radio. I didn't want nothing to do with music because it didn't really connect with me. And then for some reason, when I was at computer camp one summer, I was like 11 years old, and someone's playing DDR, and I was like, what is this? What is this music? I've never heard this in my life. And that was just kind of the beginning of kind of investing in the rhythm game culture and Japanese culture. It really was the start of everything for me.
That's kind of like, I was similar because when I was younger, I was more in tune with movie soundtracks and video game soundtracks over what the regular music and everything. That I didn't get into until I was really in high school.
Yeah.
And even then, like some of my favorite bands are KMFDM and Nine Inch Nails, Angel Spit, Rammstein, where it's still a lot of electronic and industrial sounds because I'm still picturing like movies and video games with that. Like some of my favorite soundtracks are For video games, the Metroid series usually, the Legacy of Kain game series.
Ooh, good pick.
That's actually one of my top favorite franchises.
Yeah.
And then of course Resident Evil.
Yeah, of course.
So a lot of those is what, when I think of video game soundtracks, those are like a lot of the games I always reference. Like, she'll get annoyed because I always will listen to the Castlevania soundtracks in the car.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because I love the gothic rock opera combinations.
Me and my close friend, we honestly nerd out over Symphony of the Night music all the time. It's one of my favorites. I love it.
That one and Lament of Innocence is my other top favorite Castlevania soundtrack.
Yes, Lament of Innocence. That's the PS2 one, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. They're all very fantastic soundtracks. I love
And
them.
she'll be at times like, really? You're listening to Castlevania again? Or it'll be Metroid, because I have like almost all the Metroid soundtracks.
Of course. Yeah. Did you beat Dredd yet?
Yes.
Good. Yeah, I'm getting there.
Yeah, it's the only video game this year I have played that was not part of the Yakuza series.
I got a Yakuza this year, and I found, because of the Bakamitai meme, I was like, all right, let's see what this is all about. It's like Yakuza 0 was $5 on sale. I was like, I gotta get this and let me just try it out. And then 400 hours later, I beat through all 7 of them. It's so bad.
One of our friends
so bad.
did a gamification video where she talked about Yakuza, so we went out and bought them all since they were all on PS4. And I started on January 20th with Yakuza 0, and then first or second week of July, I finished Like a Dragon, because I went through them
the
all.
whole thing. Yeah.
And then I played through Judgment, and now I have to. Then I took a break to play Metroid Dread.
Oh, okay.
And now
we're going back to the next
Judgment.
one. Yep. Yeah, I got to do Judgment, but the same story basically.
It makes me laugh because I originally wanted the Yakuza games, and he's the one who got a chance to play them because time is my enemy.
Yes.
But it's kind of funny that you had a similar situation.
Oh yeah, the meme, and I that's the thing. Like, I listened to Bakamitai, and like I unironically love that song. Like, I even wrote like a jazz piano cover of it.
Oh,
like
nice.
just for fun. I don't really post anything like that, but like for in my own spare time, I just write jazz covers of things.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I love jazz, so that's awesome.
Terrific. Yeah.
No, because I love the classic movies, so anytime like High Society or anything like that, when you have jazz in it, it's like, okay, because it's so instrumental.
Of course.
And it's just, I think it's so, lack of a better way of saying it, so classic that it's hard to recreate. So hearing someone do something like that is awesome.
Yeah, I grew up a jazz pianist, and I was, my family required me to play piano through up to high school. But so in the meantime, I was learning jazz and just be inspired by a lot of Western jazz composers and Japanese jazz composers. So in even though most of my discography is rooted in electronic music, a lot of it really is in bossa nova and jazz.
Well, I can see that because I think I mentioned earlier, I normally gravitate to more of the metal genre, but I was really like your music specifically, and not to say other creators aren't the same, but your music was like so welcoming that it's like, come one, come all, even if it's not your thing.
That's interesting. Yeah.
And I was like, wow, I can really just see myself listening to it because it's soothing, but it's powerful at the same time.
Right.
Because Sus Funk, that one of the newest songs that you just released, that's one of your originals.
Yeah.
It was actually energizing. I could see myself, playing JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and exercising all at the same time while doing it. I was like, okay, now I feel guilty because I'm sitting on a bed listening to this when I could be moving around. So, and I love your videos. Like the first video that you did, you were talking about your background, like the cup of water and everything like that. And you're like, hey gamers. I was like, wow, that's how I feel when doing a video. Like, how do I introduce So I loved how authentic you were. And even when you came on stage for opening ceremonies, you're like so authentic and so happy. What keeps you so positive, especially because you mentioned you're an introvert? What keeps you so engaging?
I think, it's funny because I'm not saying that I'm not an unhappy person, but I'm someone who's always had a lot of energy and a lot of ideas, and it's taken me a long time to kind of grow into myself and be confident in who I am. I think I'm very thankful that I've become a performer on stage and such, and I think that's given me a lot of opportunities just to become a better person in that journey. I think I don't have a good answer if you feel why in this way. I think it's kind of, I don't have a better answer, but I think I guess if I really think about it, the way how I've always seen life, as a kid, I always had a creative mind, and I kind of saw I always saw things through the lens of video games in a weird way. It's kind of silly, but like, so I was talking to my friend VGR, who I performed with last night. You know, we were talking about how like when we were kids, like, did you ever play Mario 64?
Oh yes.
Yeah, right. You play Mario 64, right? And so the whole castle thing and the way how you kind of explore the castle and you kind of, in a weird way, like I would walk into like a big convention center like this, and my brain would kind of think like, oh, where's the secret area of this convention center? Where can I go to the next area? And so my brain kind of thinks like that, and I guess that just gives me excitement, if that makes any sense at all.
No, it actually makes a lot of sense. It's actually something I'm writing my PhD thesis on, so it makes complete sense.
Actually, I love the concept of when I go into a convention, oh, what if this was a Resident Evil game?
That's what I'm saying, yeah. So that's even now I kind of think that way a little bit, low-key, yeah.
So why don't you tell us about Rare Drop?
Yes. So Rare Drop is an initiative. It's a music publishing company that I started about 2 years ago. And it's on, we're not doing anything, crazy or expensive right now, but the goal was to be a music publisher to support my friends who are releasing music game soundtracks. We published the DLC for No Straight Roads, the Encore edition, so I got to help out there. And honestly, it's been a great opportunity for me to learn a lot about the back ends of the industry through music publishing, but also, once again, helping my friends, helping, artists who I really respect. Because a lot of times musicians, they just want to create and they just want to, they don't want to worry about the professional side of things. And I actually really enjoy that very much. And so, being able to be given, in a sense, they're trusting me with their art so that I can properly represent them. And I'm really, grateful of that. And it's been really nice so far working with my friends and my colleagues to, release something together that we all can be happy with.
You can look at like a giant fetch quest.
Kind of, yeah.
Gamification.
Yeah. Absolutely.
No, I think that's awesome, and I like that you're able to help your friends and help others at the same time. Just really feel comfortable that they can get out to the world, because sometimes that's the hardest thing I think for any creative individual is that you're creative, but you have that fear of, are people really going to actually appreciate what I do?
Absolutely, and I think in some senses, in some way, what I've tried to do is, and even myself, because when I was just writing music and not in music publishing, I didn't fully quite get exactly, okay, what are they doing actually though? And, by doing so, then I get to appreciate the publishers more than I ever had before. Back then I was like, oh, why does this person need to make, XYZ percentage or whatever? And now I get it. I mean, I don't agree with everything, of course, of what I've learned in my journey, but at the same time, I'm someone who likes to understand people. I like to understand how they think. I like to understand, how they operate, and it helps me form better opinions about myself and I guess about them. So that way, hopefully we can all share common ground and kind of appreciate each other in some capacity.
Well, and you get to see the circle of life when it comes to the element of music.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, ultimately when it comes to, my friends or colleagues, the last thing I ever want to be is I don't want to be in the top of the mountain by myself. It really is. It really is for everyone. There's an expression, but I can't remember. It's like, like all ships rise with the tide, I think is what it is. And I think this really rings true in this entertainment space, or in anything in life, really. I'm someone who really believes in community, and when you have a solid, tight community, I feel empowered and obligated at the same time to help my friends. Because if I have all of these resources, I feel like if there's anything I can do to help get them to that next position they want to be in life, that gives me a lot of fulfillment, I think.
Well, I think that's very empowering because there's so much competition and competitiveness within any creative space, because reality TV showcases that, and some people get that through the numbers when you're looking on YouTube or Twitch or anything like that. They view the numbers as like this badge of honor, and sometimes they miss that there's so much more than just that.
So much more, and I think even yes, there is competition on some inherent level. Even with my friends, in theory, technically we're fighting for the same opportunities.
Absolutely.
In some cases, but at the same time, my journey into music and what I'm doing right now is my own journey. Like, this is my path. And I think for people, the best thing for them is to figure out their path. And if done correctly, I think it doesn't, for me, at this point in my career, I don't have to worry about, maybe when I was younger, I would have felt, oh man, I could have gotten that gig. But these days I don't think about that anymore, because I have what I have in my life, and I'm very grateful for that, and it makes me happy. So then, therefore, I can be happy for them equally sincerely, and you know, that's kind of how I see this. Is that we all have our own journey, our own path, and I'm sure you've heard this before.
Oh,
from
yeah.
Individuals, of course, but it really is true.
No, I really appreciate that, and I think it's a vital narrative to have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where would people be able to find you online? Like, what social media links do you have or anything?
The best thing is, all my socials are, pretty much just, the social / James Landino. So, find me, if you can't find me there, just Google me / James Landino on Spotify, Twitter, YouTube, pretty much every platform ever. It's there.
And any final words for our viewers?
Not terribly too much. I'm just, really grateful to be here, and thanks so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. We appreciate you. We
Thank
appreciate what you bring to the world as well, because without music, we would be very bored. Think of Footloose.
Yeah, me too, to be fair. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being on here. And until next time, bye.